Many people would put Jay Cutler as the rightful 2001 Mr. Olympia champion. If you ask me, I think Ronnie Coleman had just enough in the size and muscularity department in '01 to hang on to his title. If you ask me, I really think Ronnie Coleman dropped the ball in 2002. This was, in my estimation, his worst title reign, his worst title win, this version here. So, where was Jay Cutler in 2002? If he had maintained that 2001 version and brought it up to the 2002 Mr. Olympia championships, I think he would have beat Ronnie Coleman had Ronnie maintained the 2002 position that he did. So where was Jay Cutler in 2002? Well, he was at the Arnold's Classics, and of course he won, and that was one of his all-time best shapes. I did a comparison between 2002 Arnold J. Cutler and his 2001 Olympia showing. I have to say, virtually identical. So why did he not compete in 2002? It's a shame. But what we can do today is take the 2002 Arnold's Classics Jay Cutler, slap it down on the plate here against the '02 Ronnie Coleman, and let's see who was better. Keep in mind, Jay Cutler was probably at his peak weight here. He was probably 255, close to 260. He was probably a little bit leaner in '09, and on the contrary to what people believe, they think his biggest version was in 2009. But that's a misconception. He was a little bit leaner, actually. He looked bigger. But anyway, I don't want to get into that big discussion today. Jay Cutler himself set the record straight. He claimed that he was leaner in '09. But Ronnie Coleman was very, very light in 2002. He was probably the same weight as Jay Cutler, and his frame's a little bit larger, so almost looks like Jay Cutler has more muscle per square inch. And Ronnie, he has that big chest, but it does not appear to be inflated like it usually is. It's just not a good version of Ronnie Coleman whatsoever. Turn them around, and we complete the symmetry round with the rear relaxed. And even in this state of Ronnie Coleman, he's still darn hard to beat. He still has some size in the back development. Look at the thick muscles in that back. Still beating Jay Cutler, and Jay's good and lean here. Look at the glutes for Jay Cutler. And normally he battles with the striations in those glutes, but he conditions so hard. It's definitely hard for him to do battle against Ronnie in the back development. But it's a toss-up in the symmetry round, I would say. Front double bicep pose. Now this is a back and forth battle between these two, I believe. Jay Cutler, I believe his left arm seems to be not quite as big as his right one. Not symmetrical, Jay, and that's not good. Of course, when I look at Ronnie, his is even worse. That little tiny bicep of Ronnie. I don't know what happened that year. But either way, hard to judge. Go to another pose here, and they're both tilted thusly. Ronnie just lacks that muscle mass. And in the leaner versions, his stomach appears to be bigger because, if you ask me, his stomach is going to stay the same size whether he's 300 pounds or whether he's 250 pounds. So it just does not look good, especially when Jay Cutler sports a nice half vacuum. Or, I don't know, I'd call what Jay does somewhat of a vacuum. It's no Sean Ray vacuum, but still, I would say it's enough to get a slight edge against King Coleman in the front double bicep. The front lat spread, however, I would say for sure Jay Cutler has this one. And this is these two were designed to do battle with each other. If one was off, one was on, and they would take this front lat spread. They would take the front double bi, but if they were both on, it was a heck of a battle. It's not a front-on shot of Jay Cutler. Now, this one is from the 2001 Olympia, and it is front-on. I'm just saying they're identical versions. It's not like comparing the 2003 Ronnie Coleman with the 2001. I believe he is just not nearly as filled out. Do you notice Ronnie, his face here? He looks like one of them Egyptian cats, Egyptian mouse, and I've made that resemblance before. Look, doesn't he? You guys don't think that's funny? See, I think that's hilarious. Anyway, Jay would get the front lat spread in my opinion with these two versions. I think the side chest pose is always going to be a difficult one to judge between these two. Not only is the camera angle totally different, but their structural makeup is totally different as well. Jay Cutler, big, booming, nice lines, huge chest, bulbous even, which is good for a chest anyway. But Ronnie Coleman, he's hard as a rock. Look at the grainy muscle separation. But his lines and his overall flow, they're terrible. Let's just face it, they suck. So pretty much a toss-up. I don't really want to get into this one right now. And furthermore, like I said, the camera angles are totally different, so it's hard to make a full decision. Side tricep, ditto with this one. I couldn't find a 2002 Arnold Classics Jay Cutler side tri. But this is the 2001 Mr. Olympia, and like I said, they were virtually identical. So what's to say that the side tricep wouldn't have been the same either? Funny thing is about Ronnie, his two best side triceps, in my opinion that is, are here in 2002 and in 2001. Two of his, let's just say, not his best renditions, not his best versions, but for some reason he pulled off a decent side tricep. Is it enough to beat Jay Cutler? No, I don't think so. Speaking as a judge, though, I believe some of them might give it to Ronnie, whereas he has more striated tricep, and look at the conditioning of his legs. Anyway, it's both side shots. I don't really want to get into them. They're a toss-up, let's just say. Nobody's going to beat anybody with either of those shots. But the back shots, this is a battle, and it is debatable, especially speaking for myself, whereas I see symmetry as a very important key aspect, especially in the back shots. Ronnie Coleman, his lat, just as unsymmetrical as the day is long, I'm here to tell you. And Jay Cutler, his glutes, I've never seen them so tight, striated. Hamstrings, he's winning in that aspect. And the calves, it's a blowout victory. Ronnie Coleman never had the best set of calves. And Jay Cutler, on the contrary, fantastic. Ronnie is winning in the arms. Look at the triceps and biceps. Well, more the biceps, triceps, Jay Cutler, right on par, probably even winning in that aspect. Jay, more of a V taper. Ronnie, more of a U taper. But like I said, that's so distracting, that unsymmetrical lat formation of Ronnie Coleman. What a tight decision, guys. I never thought I'd give one to Jay Cutler in the back shots, but I'm almost forced to here in the rear double bi. Ronnie's not winning, that's for sure. The rear lat spread, now you could see the conditioning of Jay Cutler was virtually identical. Couldn't find a rear lat spread of the Arnold Classics. Get to the chopper, do it quickly. But either way, I don't think this is cheating. Jay Cutler's rear lat spread's pretty much as wide as Ronnie Coleman's, and that's crazy. Ronnie is so small, undersized here, that he is in trouble. There's not much in the way of unsymmetry in his lats this time. It's pretty symmetrical indeed. Jay Cutler's got a lot of wrinkles and lines in his lower back. Of course, he is winning in the leg department. Let's just say it's close in both back shots, I would say. Normally, Ronnie is flatlining Jay. But this time, these two versions, it is not the case at all. The ab and thigh shot, this is a significant victory for Jay Cutler, in my opinion. One of the few men to be able to do battle against Ronnie Coleman in the quad development. Jay just as striated, just fantastic. Definitely winning in the ab department. Jay, not a bad set of abs. Personally, not my favorite. But speaking with a judge's eye, they're definitely a comparable set of abs with pretty much anybody. But Ronnie Coleman just looks terrible, looks ugly in this shot, so Jay Cutler by default wins this one. Ronnie Coleman, his abs, I believe he was better in the larger versions, where his lats made more of a V taper. And like I said at the beginning of the video, his stomach basically stayed the same size, whether he was 250 or 300. And it just does not look good here. I mean, he beat certain guys in this shot, maybe Phil Heath, but he is not beating Jay Cutler, a prime Jay Cutler. Don't get ahead of yourself. Most Muscular should definitely be going to Ronnie Coleman if they were both in their prime shapes. But here you have a large Jay Cutler and a petite Ronnie Coleman. And Jay's out-muscling Ronnie. From the calves to the quads. Wow, look at that midsection. Even the chest department. Ronnie will always have the advantage in the outer arms. He has a lot of vascularity there. Jay always struggled in that aspect, a little soft in the outer arms. But having said that, there's more than enough in that silhouette and the muscularity department for Jay Cutler to score an upset victory against the King Coleman in his shot, the most muscular. Now the crab position, Jay Cutler's not really finishing striking this, but still, he looks fantastic. The outer arms, of course, like I said, the muscle separation of Ronnie Coleman. He's hard as a rock there. But this is like the 1995 Ronnie Coleman. If you look at some of his crab, most musculars from back then. Very small, undersized. When you look at the abs, you can keep that hard graininess in the arms, Ronnie Coleman. Jay Cutler's abs are just blowing Ronnie's midsection out of the whatever. A little bit soft in the midsection for Ronnie Coleman. So, take it or leave it, guys, for what it's worth. I believe Jay Cutler in 2002, if he had have competed against Coleman, he would have beat him. Now, Ronnie, I gave him the 2001 victory because he's always going to be just as harder than Jay Cutler. And even if he is a little softer, he still maintains a comparable conditioning against Jay. But when he is undersized and Jay is large, the conditioning virtually identical. Maybe Ronnie has a slight edge, but that doesn't matter. Jay was just too big for Ronnie in this comparison. And on the score sheet, it is confusing, but there is more of a dominant victory for Jay Cutler in the ab and thigh. And a couple other ones. So, in my humbled opinion, Jay Cutler, if he had brought this conditioning to the 2002 Mr. Olympia, he would be the champion, guys. What can I say? Of course, politics maybe would have kept Ronnie holding on to that title for another year. But having said that, guys, this would have been an even worse travesty and more of a controversial decision than in 2001. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Oh, and by the way, this is actually a fan-requested comparison. So thank you very much, Amir Hassin Baydar. Great little idea for a comparison video. Keep them coming, and hopefully you'll be able to hit a request up on the fan requested Fridays. And of course, I will be taking all those requests. Hope you enjoyed this one. Hit a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not already. Have a great day, guys.